Hey YouTube. Hey YouTube, this is fun. Hopefully you can see me. I've been trying to go live. And I know I should be able to go live. Hey everyone, can you see me? I know it's bright out here. Can you see me? Put it 13 if you can see me. I don't know. I'm out here. I've left quarantine. Florida's on the run. I'm out. I'm not in Florida. You can see me. Good, good. So I'm out in the run. I got my family. Hey family. East to the east, the west, the north, and the south. This is Florida coming to you today on the run. Florida was out. I was like, listen, quarantine is just too much for me. It's time to be out. Anyway, so we're gonna go about the NaGA DNA. Hey, hey Starbucks. Hey Lucien. Lucien. Hey Jess. I'm on the run from everywhere. Hey, hey Tamani. I like your name. I said thank you. I appreciate it. Crazies are out in Orlando. I'm not in Orlando. Or Sherry. Hey Sherry. Hey Paige. Hey Kay. Well, freedom always makes you look younger. So I'm gonna talk into my homies come in the car. Yeah, that sunshine is everything, right? So I can't really see. I can see some of your comments, but the sun is kind of setting. So let's get into the conversation. Hey, Bikini Junkie. Yes. Um, I left state, so I'll talk until my homies come back in the car. So anyway, we're going to talk about the NaGA DNA and why that matters, and how the demonization of the serpent has led to misogyny, abusive rights of women, and abuses of children. How the subjugation of women has come from the demonization of a matriarchy that has been long standing on this earth previous to many of the other alien colonists. Getting into the conversation. Whenever I get out into my zone, I get inspired to talk about things. So I've had contact with the NAGA, uh, which maybe I should start. So many of you know I've I'm a contactee of the Andromedans, which are a sect of the Andromedans that comes from originally from Earth Tiamat herself, the original Earthlings, but they are kin to the Nega, which some of you consider to be the Nigerians, a sect of the Nigerians that were here who colonized. Okay. Um, I've been seated by them, and I've always had an interconnection with those celestial cosmonauts. Okay, many of you who know me for many years have talked about my connection to the Andromedans, and as you see, many of the predictions of talking about how the matriarchy is coming back online is now coming fully online. And what I notice is that with the clearing up of the misnomers that were connected to the serpent and the demonization of the female on this planet, the divine female, with that the breaking the cycle of that suppression has brought about a lot more intel, a lot more connection to many of you who have connection to that serpent lineage as well. And many of you, even if you aren't of the serpent lineage, you have connection to those who are in alignment or in have treaties, celestial treaties with those nega. Okay. And when we talk about the nega, it's very there isn't any. What I will say to this, what's interesting about the negas they're spoken about. Even their name is spoken in vain and misspoken and misinterpreted. But they have been long standing in the subconscious of the human being on this planet for eons. Okay, um, and as we know, if they were in home court advantage previously, they wouldn't be demonized in every movie when there's a link to serpents and evil. They'll link Satanists to serpents. The whole concept of Christianity, talking about that Eve was influenced or um, persuaded to bite of the apple, which is knowledge. Apple represents knowledge, represents divine knowledge, represents the fruit of the Kashik tree of life. When they purposefully made sure they demonized the concept of the NaGA, they made sure to incept you on every single level. They made sure to get you religiously and make sure they always denote, make sure they denote um, the serpent as something negative, something that would influence you, something that was going to take you over, something that's evil, something that's diabolical, and it's quite the opposite. Okay, so we're going to get into the NaGA and the serpent bloodline and why it really matters, and how the lifting of that cycle has allowed for more interface, more interaction, more overstanding, understanding, and understanding of that which was demonized in order to suppress the divine feminine's acknowledgement of who she truly is at her core. Okay. So um, I think I've talked about for many years, and I think I made this revelation recently as I've had contact now, more so personal contact that is more, even much more awakened contact that I've had with the NAGA in recent. And realizing that all these years, when I thought I was having contact with another group of extraterrestrials that I thought were insectilians, were actually NAGA. And I was hearing the, the rattling. Remember I talked about the, that sound, and I had to note it. I thought it was crickets or something connected to the mantis. And as time went on, I figured out with the help of being connected to this was the sound of the serpents. Whenever they would come in, and my frequency, whenever they would come, I would hear that sound. I'm just looking to make sure they're coming out because I'm the one. Listen, I'm not getting out of the car because I'm smart. I'm gonna stay in the car. I'll let the sea stars do their run. They're keeping Kukarachi driver. I am the protected Kukarachi driver. Hold on, let me take a break and a sidebar. I've got wipes. I have wipes. Oh, I've got wipes. I've got lavender spray. I don't use all kinds of diabolical spray, and I have love and light when they come in the car. anyway, so so let's go back into the NAGA. So I had contact with the NAGA, and I was having more contact with them than I even realized. I hadn't realized that that sound that I was hearing for many years was, what does this do? You know, hold on, family. Sometimes men can be so, he's all in my grill. Sometimes these OGs are just, I'm sorry, I'm distracted. I gotta make sure I lock the door. Yes, I make sure I lock the doors. Yeah, I'm somewhere where there's a lot of men, and I'm not used to being around men because I'm pretty isolated all the time, and they're really thirsty right now. Sea stars, be careful with your yonis, because when they start releasing you, they start releasing you out of isolation. Oh, it's hunting season. It's duck season. It's hunting season out here, sea stars. So they hunting for sea stars right now, and we're looking like a barbecue on a long famine fast, and they don't play. So I gotta lock the doors because sometimes they might go caveman and grab me by my hair and take me in their house and try to savage me. I gotta be prepared. Anyway, so um, so the NIGA is representation of us, of some of the divine, obviously the divine feminine, and with the NIGA come from a matriarchal line. Okay, the serpent line of the Nigerians is a matriarchy ran by a queen. Okay. And that's why I took issue with what I was having contact with. So now that I had realization and come in contact with the actual NIGA personally and aware of that, that was who I was also directly in contact with. It's been 3 weeks or 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks, 2.5 weeks of perpetual contact with the NIGA. Fascinating, amazing, so many revelations that it's beyond comprehension, and I'm really appreciative. And it gave me a better understanding of my own genealogy, and also why I'm so darn aggressive. I had to come to terms why um, I was I have a certain disposition innately that was coming out that had a lot of that nigga residue on it. And once I started to have more contact, open-ended contact and conversation with those who are NaGA, I realized that that disposition is one that is very normal amongst that particular tier of extraterrestrials. And it actually is how we interface with one another. It's a it's a it's a it's that strong, amazing strength. And what seems could be like aggression to someone else is actually assertion, because the NAGA are warrioresses, and they're very powerful in how they show up and very unapologetic in how they distribute their power. And I think for a long time, there's been a demonization of that type of female on this planet. And now I know there's a link to the Nagat the serpent, and why they've demonized that, and why they've made that into a negative trait in order to create a type of taboo, or to make us more self conscious about our natural state of being. Okay. So it's amazing. So I want to talk about the NAGA and how the contact with them has literally been amazing, and also how this really is going to affect many of you. And again, if you know for a fact that you aren't part of the NAGA, most likely if you're here, you definitely have a connection, or some of the celestials that you're in contact with have a good liaison, or have their own alliance within the NAGA, the matriarchy NAGA. Because remember, I said this 5 years ago, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm unapologetic about saying it. Matriarchy is on home court advantage. That is why the Cucarachis, that is why the Cucarachis has made more of a pronounced statement or presence amongst males. That is why they're even, oh Lord, that's what, hold on, family. Hold on, family. Okay. It's, it's a little, it's wild. Listen, I haven't been around people for so long, it builds distrust and paranoia. Best believe that. So I'm looking all over because I haven't been out. So just know, if you see me on here, I am from a different. Flurburn is on the run. I ran out of quarantine. I am somewhere undisclosed. I'll probably make a live from my undisclosed direction. I'm happy that I broke out of Dodge. There are all kinds of interesting creatures out here with masks, looking like Fu Manchu, looking like they trying to take you. Like I said, hold on, family. Oh, good lord. Wow. Dudes walking around with masks. They taking pictures of me. The struggle is real, y'all. I don't know if I want to do this live. It's what if I show you? Oh, crazy out here. Okay, I'm back. Let me make this conversation. I won't be distracted. Remember, I haven't been out. I'm a little distracted. Let me go. So, Nega have a matriarchy that head them. They are connected to the Nigerians, which many of you call the Anunnaki. That Anunnaki is a general, it's a very generic term that I've refused to use from now on. I only say Anunnaki so you realize who I'm speaking of, but I'm talking about the Nigerians who come around here. They are on a planetoid that comes around here roughly around every 3,600 years. Okay, can you guys hear me? Okay. Okay. And because they've been in this, they come around that period of time when they're here, they actually reign supreme. Anytime they come around this cylindrical pattern of cycle, they actually come back in home court advantage. I didn't realize that before, but I realize now. Okay, so Nigerians are basically those who are connected to the Anunnaki. Remember, the Anunnaki has, and I use a generic term so you understand who I'm speaking of, but they are the inhabitants of planet X. And when I say inhabitants, planet X isn't a planetoid, it is basically almost like a ship. Okay, it's like a mother hub ship that comes around on an elliptical. It travels on an elliptical rotation, and it comes around every certain 36, roughly 3,600 years. And when it does, it brings a little destabilization, or a lot of destabilization to our magnetic field. And when it does that, we have a lot of planetary shifts. We have a lot of shifting of, ley lines. The ring of fire starts to realign itself. Multitude of earthquakes occur, tsunamis, all that good stuff to kind of create, kind of terror, geo engineer the type of environment necessary to be able to host those type of beings or when they come here. And basically that planetoid coming too close causes that destabilization of the magnetic field. Okay, so the NaGA are, like I said, matriarchally based. They are connected to a serpent line that are from Syria. Yes, many people say, well, aren't the NaGA from Syria, the Syrian star system? Yes, they are, but they live, and they don't only live on Nigeria. They don't only live on Planet X. They live in a multitude of places. They come from the Sirius star system a little further out, and they live amongst those in that particular part of the solar system that are mostly serpent beings. Okay, they are cohesive in, our our stratosphere, but they do coexist like many of the other celestials. They can live on many different other terrains, and just like the draconians have lived on many planetoids, the grays live on many different planetoids, the Arcturians do, even some of obviously the aquatic beings that came originally from the Mers. That's why the NaGA are good and have a treaty with the Mers, because they came from the same solar system. They came from the Syrian um, star system. Can they communicate? Yes, yes. They communicate. All beings that are higher in intelligence and in um, telecommunicate through your pineal gland. Okay, the only ones that they have a hard time telecommunicating with their through their pineal gland are those who spend time having any sort of telecommunication with any group, because they have a naturally um, a natural am I buffering? Tell me if you, I mean, so you can have serpentine beings, but they're home to those in Africa, which was which is the biggest continent, which they purposefully make small continent. That state, I'm a Sagittarius, so I had to get out, but I'll come to you later. So I hope all's well, family, and let me know how you're doing. Okay, so love you. Talk to you later. Peace.